Few birds command a shoreline the way a bald eagle does. Perched at the crown of a tall pine or a bare snag overlooking open water, it sits with a squared, upright posture, motionless, deliberate, watching. The bald eagle is North America's only sea eagle, a species that has evolved entirely on this continent and built its entire way of life around one essential resource: water. Rivers, lakes, reservoirs, estuaries, and coastal shorelines form the core of the bald eagle's habitat. Wherever open water persists, especially through winter, when ice forces many raptors away from productive fishing grounds, bald eagles concentrate. They require more than just water, though. Tall trees for nesting, strong perches for scanning, and open flight paths for approach and takeoff are all part of what makes a landscape suitable. The best habitats combine water, elevation, and visibility into a single, productive territory. Fish make up the core of the bald eagle's diet. Salmon, herring, trout, catfish, shad, and carp are all fair targets, and at least 100 fish species have been recorded in the eagle's diet across its range. But the bald eagle is also deeply opportunistic. It takes waterfowl, small mammals, turtles, and snakes, and it scavenges carrion without hesitation. In winter, when frozen water reduces access to live fish, this flexibility becomes essential to survival. As an apex predator, the bald eagle sits at the top of the food web. Its presence along a shoreline is more than scenic. It signals intact habitat, healthy fish populations, and a functioning ecosystem. Ecologists treat the bald eagle as an indicator species, one whose abundance or scarcity reflects the broader health of the rivers and wetlands it depends on. The bald eagle's ability to find fish is rooted in extraordinary eyesight. An eagle's eye is almost as large as a human's, but its visual sharpness is at least 4 times greater. With 2 foveae, specialized regions of dense photoreceptors, the eagle can see both forward and to the side simultaneously, giving it a wide and deeply detailed picture of its environment. From high above the water, perched or soaring, it can detect the movement of fish near the surface. An inner eyelid called the nictitating membrane allows the eagle to clean and protect its cornea mid-flight while maintaining vision. This adaptation matters during a strike, when wind, spray, and debris all threaten the eye. Bald eagles also read light on the water, movement below the surface, and wind conditions to judge when and where to strike, a process that relies on positioning and environmental awareness far more than speed or surprise. Hunting begins with patience. Bald eagles perch high above water bodies and scan for prey before committing to a strike. They conserve energy by soaring on thermals and riding wind currents, striking only when the timing aligns. This economy of effort is not laziness. It is a calculated strategy that preserves calories for the long stretches between successful hunts. Adults have mastered this approach: controlled, economical flight relying on soaring and gliding rather than constant flapping. Juvenile eagles, by contrast, range more widely and experiment more in the air, showing less consistency in posture and movement. It takes roughly 4 to 5 years for a young eagle to transition from the mottled brown plumage of a juvenile to the iconic white head and tail of an adult. And with that visual transformation comes the refined hunting experience of a seasoned predator. When a bald eagle commits to a strike, the sequence is fast and precise. From its perch or from soaring flight, it drops toward the water, gliding low across the surface, before extending its talons at the last moment to snatch a fish near the surface. The dive speed of a bald eagle can reach between 120 and 160 kilometers per hour, though full vertical dives are rare. More often, the approach is a long, angled glide ending in a talon-first grab. The grip that follows that strike is formidable. A bald eagle's grip strength is estimated to be 10 times stronger than that of a human. Each foot bears 4 toes, 3 facing forward and 1, called the hallux, facing backward, each tipped with a sharp, curved talon. The hind toe talon is especially powerful and is used to pierce vital areas of prey. Eagles can carry fish at least equal to their own weight. Though they typically cannot sustain full flight with prey heavier, than about half their body weight without the aid of favorable wind. When the catch is too heavy to lift cleanly from the water, eagles sometimes swim it ashore using their wings as oars, dragging the fish with their talons. Some have drowned or succumbed to hypothermia attempting to carry prey that proved too heavy to release. The eagle's instinct to grip is powerful, sometimes fatally so. Not every meal is earned through a strike. Bald eagles are notorious kleptoparasites, thieves by nature, and frequently steal fish from other birds, particularly osprey. An eagle will harass a fish-carrying osprey in midair, forcing it to drop its catch, then swoop to intercept it before it hits the water. This strategy chooses efficiency over effort and reflects the eagle's broader philosophy: take the easiest meal available. When food is plentiful, eagles may store up to 1 kilogram in a throat pouch called a crop, digesting it over several days. Nowhere is the bald eagle's relationship with fish more vivid than in Alaska during the salmon runs. Each autumn, Pacific salmon pour into rivers to spawn and die, and bald eagles gather in extraordinary numbers to feed on the bounty. In southeast Alaska, fish comprise approximately 2/3 of the eagle's year-round diet and nearly 80% of what parents bring to the nest. Salmon, pink, coho, sockeye, and chinook dominate that diet, though eagles in this region primarily scavenge spent carcasses rather than actively catching live fish. Once the North Pacific salmon die off after spawning, local bald eagles eat salmon carcasses almost exclusively. The sheer scale of this resource draws eagles from across the region. Chinook carcasses, among the largest of all salmon species, can attract multiple eagles to a single site. Eagles also habitually follow large predators like brown bears and gray wolves to scavenge their kills of dead fish, a classic example of the opportunistic intelligence that defines the species. Alaska supports the largest resident bald eagle population in the United States. Beyond the salmon rivers, eagles along southern Alaskan estuaries and coastlines also prey on Pacific herring, sand lance, and eulachon. The Chilkat Bald Eagle Preserve in Alaska is believed to support the largest wintering bald eagle population anywhere in the world, with thousands of birds converging each fall when late-running chum salmon remain accessible under the gravel, keeping water temperatures above freezing long after other rivers have iced over. Migration follows the logic of food and open water. Bald eagles are partially migratory. Those in the far north move south or toward ice-free coastlines when their freshwater hunting grounds freeze over, while eagles in warmer southern regions may remain on their breeding territories year-round. They follow natural pathways such as river systems, coastlines, and mountain corridors, using thermals and wind currents to minimize energy expenditure during long seasonal movements. Timing varies year to year, shaped by temperature, water conditions, and prey availability rather than fixed dates. The story of the bald eagle's recovery is one of the most compelling in the history of conservation. By 1963, only 417 nesting pairs remained in the contiguous United States, a catastrophic decline from an estimated 300,000 to 500,000 birds in the early 18th century. The collapse was driven by habitat destruction, relentless persecution, and above all, the pesticide DDT. Absorbed through contaminated fish, DDT disrupted calcium metabolism in eagles, causing eggshells to thin so drastically that they cracked beneath the weight of brooding parents. The turnaround required legal force and ecological commitment. DDT was banned in the United States in 1972. The bald eagle was declared endangered in the lower 48 states in 1978. The Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act, passed by Congress in 1940 and strengthened over the following decades, made it illegal to harm, disturb, or kill eagles, their nests, or their eggs. Habitat protections from the Endangered Species Act, cleaner waterways supported by the Clean Water Act, and sustained public pressure all contributed to the bird's gradual recovery. By 2007, there were at least 9,789 nesting pairs in the contiguous United States, and the bald eagle was formally removed from the endangered and threatened species list. Population surveys have since recorded approximately 200,000 individuals across North America, a figure roughly double the estimated golden eagle population. The bald eagle's IUCN status is now least concern, with a trend listed as increasing. It is, by any measure, a landmark recovery. But recovery does not mean the threats have disappeared. Lead poisoning remains one of the most persistent dangers facing bald eagles today. When eagles scavenge carcasses of animals killed with lead ammunition, they ingest bullet fragments embedded in the tissue, fragments small enough to be invisible to the eye, but toxic enough to cause neurological damage and death. Collisions with vehicles, wind turbines, and power lines also take a toll, and disturbance around nesting sites can disrupt breeding entirely. Protecting the bald eagle going forward means protecting the ecological relationships that sustain it: intact shorelines, clean water, mature nesting trees, and reliable prey populations. The eagle is not just a symbol. It is a functioning part of the ecosystems it inhabits, regulating fish and waterfowl populations, transporting nutrients from water to land through the fish carcasses it carries to nests, and signaling by its very presence that a watershed is worth protecting. Where the bald eagle thrives, the land and water beneath it tend to be healthy too.